Hello, Salai, and welcome back to Arbitration Studios as we cross the void of the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm JP Arbiter.
Here, Sly, and I am Captain Jack.
So, if it's not obvious, we are covering Tali Zora Vast Normandy. Um,
Indeed.
Although she's not Vast Normandy yet.
No, she.
So, um, in our social circle, I don't think there's a single character, a single one among us for whom Tali is like not one of the most beloved characters out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. We love Tali. I think everybody, like even people that haven't played the game, who have just watched the game, like my daughters,
Mm-hmm.
love Tali. Like Tali's their favorite. Like if I don't have Tali with me, they ask me, "Where is Tali? What have you done to Tali, you evil man?" That's what they ask me.
I'm not allowed to tell you what I've done to Tali. You're not old enough. Anyway, so yeah, we've got one friend, Chris, who's a hardcore Morden guy. But that's mostly because he identifies with
He
Morden.
does. He does. He
Uh,
is essentially more than in made flesh.
and then another buddy of ours, David, is basically a Garrus Vakarian fanboy. But
I mean, I don't,
we all love Tali.
we do. Tali is, and really, of course, Tali's my go-to. In all, anytime I have her as an option, Tali is my go-to. I think that I find their relationship to be more wholesome than necessarily the relationships with other people. I find their interaction, however you play it, if you play it romantically, or if you play it just a friend, or if you play, however you play it, I find their interactions to be wholesome,
Yeah.
and I like that. Um,
Part of that is that Tali is one person who is not in terms of age and experience unequal to everyone else. She is, yeah, she's the teenager. She's the kid of the
mhm,
group.
mhm.
Um,
Which is why I do not romance her in the first game.
I don't romance her for the same reason I don't romance Garrus. It has nothing to do with not liking them. It has everything to do with weird biology reasons.
No, no,
Yeah,
that's
the
fair.
literal cross pollination in the case of Tali and Garrus will result in allergic reactions for
Indeed.
someone involved.
Eh.
And in Tali's case, it's downright dangerous. So yeah, I played through it once. In fact, it was my very first incarnation of Shepherd was did go from Ashley to Tali, but and then stuck with Tali in three. But after that, and like her listing off all the crap that she had to go through just for that one intimate moment, was just yeah, I don't feel right about this
And
anymore.
that's understandable. And you know, despite what many people think, you actually have uh, what someone might mistake as morals, or ethics. Um, I think their relationship is first off, like in the first game, there's a little bit of the older kind of thing that I'm not into and whatnot. But later
Well,
on,
Tali wasn't a well-developed character in the first
yeah,
game anyway. I don't know if I go so far as to accuse her of being an exposition dump for the Geth,
mm, mm,
but there just wasn't a lot of context for Tali and for the Quarians. You had this weird sort of pseudo aboriginal to be a grown up you have to go on a walkabout sort of thing, and I kind of got that. But
and of course, this is followed up very closely. Uh, uh, this actually leads into two, where she is a much more actualized character, and she is a much more mature character, um, leading her own team. Uh, uh, you know, uh, doing her own missions, planning her own, you know,
and she has the respect.
happier.
She doesn't just have authority; she has respect of the
Yes.
people around her.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she's gotten most of them killed.
Well, I mean, as leaders, we've done that a time or two. I mean, sometimes you got to get everybody killed.
Look, Shepard has never left anyone meaningful behind.
Exactly. Carthonasi must die.
Anyway.
Um, but for me, I personally like Tali, and so that bias comes out in the game. I also find Tali's and the Quarians in general to be kind of an interesting, if not tragic, and uh, slightly uh, like aggravating group of people, honestly, where you're like, you know, um, together, like, and of course later on you learn more about the story and whatnot, but they are the creators of their own misery.
It's very much an iRobot story.
And
Um, and the funny thing about it all is the the story of the Quarians is very much the tribes of Israel in exile in Egypt sort of story, driven by circumstance from their homeland. Uh, they go to Egypt, in other words, to the wider galaxy, where they are taken advantage of, and now they're on a journey back home, and that journey has taken 300 freaking years.
I will and going into the commentary of the actual game right here, I will admit that for whatever odd reason, this particular event right here um, is it always kind of slows me down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing this over and over for years, once a year, every year, and I never seem to get the hang of this particular thing. Now, this isn't to say that I die a whole bunch on this. This is just to say that this is the part that slows me down.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't think that there's anything necessarily about it that it makes it harder than other levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this is the part. This slows me down a bit.
This is where it's really handy to have either a soldier archetype, because the Matic rifle was just a great equalizer.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Or to save yourself, for want of a better word, until after the collector mission, so that way you can choose assault rifles as a secondary thing.
Right. Which I always, I don't know why, but I always pick the sniper rifle if my character can't use the sniper rifle. I always pick the sniper rifle, forgetting that I picked the sniper rifle the last time. So, like, I always mean to pick something different, and then end up picking the sniper rifle.
My tongue got twisted there. Sniping is a great tool, but it really doesn't. In Mass Effect 2, its utility is
It's limited in comparison to what, like, 1, I thought it was pretty helpful in 1, but you're right, in 2 it's a little less helpful.
Well, and the thing about 2 with their combat system is that they really made it so that way you had to lean on your power set, not on the guns.
Which is tough for me because I have a tendency to shoot first and power later, if ever.
Yeah, but powers are what my squad mates are for.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I play. That's how I play this. That's how I play Dragon Age. That's how I play any game that has that.
I know Dragon Age. All I do is I get a sword and board guy and do everything I can to aggravate people to attack me. Just like real life.
Yeah, no, it's true. I stab people, or like in this game, fist people. Because we be fisting.
I want to take this moment to, since we got it, this was supposed to be the genesis of a plot line that was abandoned because the guy who wrote it quit. Where like the casus belli of the Reapers was to try and control the rapid creation of dark energy, dark matter in the galaxy because it would consume everything if it was left unchecked. Um, I've never really. I don't get why people are enamored with that plot line because it's just like so your solution is to kill everyone and have them keep using your tech, which is causing the problem.
I'd never actually heard that. Which I guess maybe I'm lucky.
Well, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
paraphrasing from like I first off because it's a dropped plot line, no one
Mm-hmm.
really freaking knows. Um, and but it just struck me as like, why is this not? It wasn't a good plot thread in my mind.
No,
So
I don't. I agree with you. I think that honestly, I think that the entire three the entire novel, three chapter novel, however you want to look at the three games, I always look at them as one game that just plays out that long. I feel like the editing and the storytelling and the story writing were done exceedingly well,
mhm.
and anything that got left out was left out for a reason, and was left out rightfully so. Except for the fact that they didn't leave out Jacob, which I think I would have done.
You know who I would have replaced Jacob with?
Mm,
Kai Lang.
oh yeah, I
Have
could
Kai
see,
Lang
yeah,
be your companion, be a Cerberus true believer,
and then
and then flip it over.
yeah, no, I could see that. I could see that. I would have gone with Rex. Um,
Of course you would have.
because I love me some Rexy. But look at that come hither glare she gives you.
But that was not
Uh,
a come hither glare. That was a what the fuck are you doing with an AI on your ship glare.
mm, mm. Yes, but the AI, listen to that voice, that silky, beautiful voice.
So Tali will make herself right at home right away and basically assume the role of chief engineer of the Normandy, completely making Gabby and Donnelly her bitches
I
as a
mean,
result. And
lucky Gabby and Donnelly.
I mean,
They get to well, I mean, they get to work for somebody that actually knows what she's doing.
yeah. When
Uh,
a Quarian says, "Give me the controls on board a ship," you do it.
yeah, yeah, they are ship people.
Joker, is that racist? That sounds racist.
A lot of what Joker says sounds slightly like it sounds that weird kind of racism that isn't like I'm trying to be offensive, but that kind of racism that is like almost New England racism, sort of.
If you live between New York and LA, you're a fucking farmer.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean
That's more regionalism, but
yeah, that's true. But no, I mean that statement is true. Uh, but
give me a chunk of scrap metal, circuit board, and some Ezo, and I'll have him making precision jumps.
oh
Yes.
yes, Ezo.
How that always brings up something to me is that the migrant fleet, of course, they will buy and salvage ships from other people. How come they don't have yard ships where they can just build new from the get go? Is that just too expensive or?
That's probably too expensive and time consuming.
Hmm.
And they may not have the facilities to build superstructures,
Hmm.
to build hulls and that sort of thing, because they're spending so much of their resources
Keeping
on
the fleet that they got.
maintaining the fleet that they have.
I mean, they would have to possess yard ships just for repairs,
Yeah,
but not yard ships that are capable of building new.
yeah. I mean, that would be my guess. I think story wise, they just didn't
Think of it.
think of it. Um, I but it's whether you play Tally as your mate, or as your mate. Um, I she's the one I trust.
Mhm.
Her and Garrus are the two that I'm like, these are the two that will not betray me. I really thought each and every single one of these characters that you get into was going to betray you at some point, with the exception of course, Tali and Garrus.
Um,
And then of course later on, I was like, if Grunt betrays you, it won't be like I'm betraying you because I believe in the other side. It will be I must fight you because I am Krogan. So it would be a little more understandable and a little more acceptable.
mhm.
Um,
But I mean, Miranda has every reason to. Um, Jacob is has no original thoughts in his head, so if he's ordered to do something, he'll do it.
yeah, that's that. My take throughout the whole thing was that those two were going to betray you. My other take was that, and of course, you know, Morden was going to betray you for some, scientific reason. He'd done the math or something like that. But Tally, always, from the very first time you talked to her in the first game through the whole thing, never an issue of trust for me. Never an issue trusting that character. Um, uh, I also find the hoods and their garb and whatnot. I think is
Very Middle Eastern.
yeah. I think that, for me, I enjoy the when you are, hey, we have to wear this suit for whatever reason.
Mhm.
How are we going to make it our own? How are we going to make it look? How are we going to stylize it?
Which is why I love how the hoods and all the fabric of their suits have that
Mm-hmm.
that texture
Yeah,
to them.
yeah. That was a great job on the animator's part, to give those hoods, instead of having those hoods be more of a plasticky kind of like, sealed hood type deal, make the hoods actually part of fashion.
Mhm.
The hoods are not necessary. The mask is the mask. The hood is actually over the mask
Speaking of the
and
math,
over the helmet.
I do appreciate the. And I know it was done for gameplay and for projecting to the audience purposes, but the mouthpiece with the little flashlight that blinks
Oh
when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that
yeah.
is actually a big cultural cue. That in a person to person of a real people situation is like that would be very necessary in a society like this. Because if that visual indicator that
Yeah.
your voice is that you need to be heard, sort of
Indeed.
thing.
Indeed. Now, us has often been, the case. Uh, as has often been the case in Mass Effect 2. This is about solving daddy issues.
Mm-hmm.
Her daddy's issue is, um, that hubris.
Yeah.
He,
Is it hubris or is it desperation?
I think it's now you could. I think you can make an argument for both of those. I think you can make an argument one way or the other.
And
I happen to.
are they mutually exclusive?
I do not think that they're mutually exclusive. I think that he has a desperation to please his daughter and to bring his daughter home,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he has the hubris to believe that he can do it immediately, right now.
Well, and the other side of it too is that Tali returns home. She tells the tale of the Reapers, and I'm sure like 9/10 of the Quarians either are unaware of this because they don't have the clearance for it,
Mm.
or they don't believe her. But Dad would,
Yeah, Dad would.
and suddenly it's getting Tali a home is not just a
Yeah.
matter of keeping a promise to my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of life and death,
Mhm.
because that push might or that going over the edge and being willing to go as far as they are, in terms of trying to figure out a way to essentially hack the Geth.
I and this is just, kind of my storyteller brain spiraling off. Um, I think that the overall, I think the Quarians would be the group most likely to believe in the Reapers as an enemy,
Hmm.
since they are already primed to be paranoid about AI
Hmm.
and paranoid about that. The other thing, though, is given their bias and whatnot, I would imagine they would find a way to blame it on the Geth and say that there is a Reaper, but it's a Geth Reaper, you know. um, because that's often how this kind of generational prejudice works.
I do like that. In
Yeah,
order to generate gravity, they have that their agricultural ships, live ships they call them,
yeah,
just use good old fashioned centripetal force.
yep. Spin gravity.
Just hi, we'll just do it on a massive scale.
Yep. When when you're in space, everything's going to be on a massive scale.
And
You're
and also it's a very low energy way to do it.
uh,
So
well, see, I don't know, and I haven't read into it too. If you have Mass Effect, then obviously you have artificial gravity. Um,
but at the same time,
what is the energy
yeah,
exchange on that?
I mean, fusion reactors are needed to juice it enough.
Yeah, it's kind of how are they? You know, they
I'm
I think overall this game does a really good job of establishing the laws of physics that they play under
mhm.
and then obeying those laws of physics instead of going we need to change this to tell this story.
Mhm.
They try to stay within the bounds of the rules that they've set for themselves, and I think they do a good
Oh,
job.
those Marines are so cool. They have the black visors.
Mm, mm.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
This
Sorry.
from the guy with this from the gal with the spider woman helmet on. Uh, you know, uh,
Wait, Tali or me?
you look
I
at
mean,
the thing.
I have it on because it boosts our gun damage, and and guns are the closest thing we can do to fisting right now.
Hey, you know
Hey,
what?
wait for Mass Effect 3 because
Oh, Mass Effect 3, we be fisting.
we're gonna be fisting so hard. I'm gonna be switching our character class again. We were a soldier in 1, we were a sentinel in 2. I'm going to be going Vanguard for 3
Perfectly fine.
because
Love it. I'm
Vanguard
here
is
for it.
the greatest fisting of them all.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm always here for fisting. Um, I think the well, and overall, and this goes for 1 to 2. I think the gameplay got better.
Mhm.
I overall, and I know I've heard people complain about it. Kind of the changes they made overall, but I think overall the gameplay got better. Oh, see,
This right here.
uh,
Right here. Oh, why did I bring Garrus with Stu so he could eat?
yeah, no, Garrus got to eat. Fat boy got to eat. Well, little known fact is that he is massively obese for his people. Little known fact. Little known fact is that's why they kicked him out. Actually, is because they're just disgusted by his blobbishness.
He's not a very good Turian.
No, he's a terrible Turian. Terrible Turian.
Yeah,
Always overeating.
the politics involved. Hey, we're gonna prejudice you at the gate, and just the entire idea of like with their trial. I just want to ask, what sort of investigation did you guys do?
No. I'm always curious on judicial systems. They always fascinate me, how judicial systems and how different judicial systems work. And this one doesn't seem to be very judicial.
Well,
It doesn't seem to be inquisitorial. Because they really aren't asking any real questions or doing any real, investigation, as you just said. It doesn't seem to be adversarial. In other than the fact that there's one person who's a massive adversary, but he's actually one of the judges. So that
and they're not presented with any of the evidence,
Right.
which
right.
ahead of the trial they can't yeah, there's no time whatsoever to sit and strategize.
The judges serve as the prosecution.
Hmm.
It's a weird. It's. I'm not sure.
Actually, and that's not so strange. It's if anything, a prosecutor independent from the judiciary is kind of an odd duck feature of Western and particularly European-based
Mhm.
courts. Like in case in point, in Japan, judges can actively question witnesses
Mm.
in addition to a prosecutor. So, and that's not allowed in a common law system. Um, so it's just that this is. I mean, we're gonna call them out on it, but we're setting up. They're basically jerking us around for their own ends, and frankly, it's also reeks of the person who's actually guilty is dead, but we need a body.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
someone's head to roll
Yeah.
for this.
Uh,
Um, in which case it is inquisitorial.
yeah.
Because
Well, inquisitorial in the sense of it's an inquisition, not in the sense of this is an inquisitorial judicial system. But I mean, it has flavors of a military tribunal.
yeah, but even a military tribunal, you're entitled to examine the evidence against you and formulate a defense around in
Mhm.
opposition to it.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think that did we not have enough Renegade to go the Renegade route?
um,
I've not actually gone the Renegade route on
we're,
this.
we're playing nice.
Oh, we're playing. Oh, right, right. We're playing fisty but nice.
Well, yeah,
That's okay.
it's one of those things. This is not the space Jesus route, but this is sort of a Agatha Christie is a very aware of her surroundings kind of person. She loses her cool and she will punch people if the opportunity comes up, or headbutt them in the case of a Krogan. There was no way that did not give her brain damage.
Yeah, but that's just foreplay with Krogans.
Anyway, but first off, this is Shepard's first time encountering the fleet, and already she sees an asset.
Mm. Well, which is actually smart, and the fact that the rest of the galaxy doesn't, and that they let their prejudice against, because no matter where you go,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where it is, migrants will always be seen with a certain level of prejudice
Mm-hmm.
by people who stay where they're at all the time. For whatever reason, people that migrate, people that move around a lot, are seen as somehow lesser than people who just stay in the same place all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, so
And this is where
I think it's a.
we turn around. I flip back and forth because holy fucking shit, you guys are a bunch of hypocrites.
They are. You would and going off on the tangent that my brain is going off of on the prejudice that they suffer from the rest of the galaxy. If you wanted the best ships possible,
Mm-hmm.
you would work with the Quarians
Mm-hmm.
because they know ships. Because their life depends on their ships. So you would work with them. But realistically, and they wrote this realistically because they are
A migratory people.
migratory people, everybody hates them. Everybody is prejudiced against them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best ships that you could possibly get aren't made because you don't have Quarians working with Turians working with
Humans working with everyone. Yeah.
To build the Normandy SSD-3, which would be essentially the goddamn USS Enterprise flying up in this bitch. Screw your Mass Effect cannons. We have phasers.
So it's this whole thing we got. What was the charges are bunk, but now we're and there's certain like safety procedures and whatnot. Like, would a ship like the admirals knew that Tali's father was conducting death experiments from the get-go.
Yeah.
So why was that ship with the fleet? Why was it not like at least a light year out at any given point and ready to blow up when when containment was
Yeah.
lost, or
Yeah.
ready to fire or do an internal EMP or whatever?
Yeah. No, I mean you're not. Uh, these are really good questions. I think story wise, it had to be. I think story wise, it's where it needed to be for to tell the story and have you, what have you.
Cal Rieger, the goat.
The goat.
He,
The goat.
yeah, it's a shame that it's Stephen Baldwin, who, from what I understand, interpersonally is kind of a dirtbag, but he is.
I've never seen something with him that I didn't like though.
Yeah, good actor.
I mean, good actor.
And
Fantastic.
plays it well. I mean, he does play the experienced soldier archetype very well.
Yes, he
here.
does. Yeah, he does. It's kind of his niche as an actor.
And frankly, and he plays it well too with his whole opinion of how are we even supposed to get the homeworld back?
Yeah.
What are the logistics here? We're good for strike teams. We're good for but a full blown war.
Yeah. No. You know, I think you end up getting characters like that. Hopefully, if the writing is good, you end up having characters that actually look at the situation logically, instead of just having a whole bunch of people doing the exact, a whole bunch of people hell bent on doing something stupid. But I think that. Yeah.
Again, mentioning the dark energy plot here, and it's like, well, yeah, I like kind of. Here's the thing. It's like explaining a black hole. I know that black holes exist and there's science to back it up. I can't explain it to you. Beyond the most basic grade school stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. No, I mean these kind of things are there are people that know far more and should be listened to. Really, our expertise is in fisting and making sweet love to Krogan.
I don't quarter Krogan, but
fair enough. So I never, and this may sound stupid or something, but I never go around and talk to anybody anymore. Like maybe I did the first or second time I played through, I can't remember, but I just jump right to the
fisting.
Right to the fisting. Right, I just get over there and I get it done. I probably talked to everybody the first time I played it. But at the end of the day, I get to have Tali with me regardless. So
yeah. Well, and frankly, this is one of those missions that's really hard to screw up in terms of the.
It is.
In terms of because. Yeah, Tali can't die unless you get a game over from you dying, in which case you just reload the last save.
Right.
The only way you can make Tali not loyal to the cause is to literally defy her wishes at the end of it and reveal that her dad was a screw-up.
Right. Which I have never ever looked at and gone, huh, that seems like the right idea.
Yeah.
I've never felt like no matter what character I've played, no matter what kind of character I've been playing, I've never gone to that and gone, let's just ignore Tali and do what we want. Like,
poor Vitor.
Oh, Vitor.
He has, he is a bundle of post-traumatic stress.
Ah, poor Vitor.
That is an entire sketch pad of PTSD.
I'd say he need to.
Isn't that what your daughter said when when her mom told her about the plot line of Beetlejuice?
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
that's a whole sketchbook of Oopsie.
It's a whole sketchbook of whoopsie doodle. Speaking of whoopsie doodles, this mission is caused by a giant whoopsie doodle.
Yeah, just like virtual simulations in a completely partitioned computer system. I mean,
nothing's ever completely partitioned.
If you don't network it, that is partitioned. You know, the pull out all the wireless transmissions that allow Geth platforms to work with each other, and so that way they can only connect to a server through a cable.
Life um, finds a way.
People often ask me if my last name is pronounced Goldblum or Goldblum, and my response is always the same. How dare you speak to me? So, so this is the first of the well, technically the second. But the first one was a wishy-wash who just would not do what was necessary to protect her goddaughter. So, you know, thanks, Auntie.
Yeah,
Admiral Zen is our Elon Musk character.
yeah.
A my way or the highway futurist, and if I'm not the one who's going to save the Quarians, then I'm going to set the fire that makes the Quarians burn, sort of person.
If I remember correctly, played by Claudia Black.
Yes.
The incomparable Claudia Black.
Which is a shame that we never got her and Arya T'Loak to like talk to each other.
Oh,
I would just be playing the. I'd just be repeating that for hours.
For hours. I think Claudia Black is sci-fi royalty. If there is such a thing as sci-fi royalty, she is certainly it.
Definitely geek royalty.
Geek royalty. I mean, she's been a part of so many great geek franchises, including this one.
Farscape and Stargate are the big ones.
Yeah.
And her character in Stargate is my kind of character,
right?
Just
absolutely.
Hello, I'm your local pirate queen, BT Dubs. I'm totally gonna stab you in the back here eventually. But let's get to that point, shall we?
And she definitely plays a great, like, sort of a person that
she's on the good guy team, but she is sinister.
Yeah, and she has such a level of hubris as to be near comical levels of hubris, if it wasn't so harmful to everybody around her. Which is, again, it was great that you compared her to an Elon Musk, because that's that level of hubris.
Here's the other thing too, is that there are definite controls on her behavior within the Quarian hierarchy, because we see all of her opinions are all well, fine, and dandy, but like she clearly doesn't have the kind of power that's needed to act on them, or she has to modify her desires heavily. We'll see that in Mass Effect 3 when we get to it. When she wants to do something, we have the option to say, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yes.
So
yes. But I clearly am a fan of Claudia Black's work, and hearing her voice in this certainly is a lovely touch. Honestly, all of the famous voice actors are always not you, Caden Alinko. Wonderful to hear.
I would argue that the voice actor for Caden is perfectly fine.
Oh no, he's wonderful. I really liked him in Once Upon a Time, I forget. I think maybe that was the name of the show, but he played Jiminy Cricket. So I really liked him on that. I think he's a fine actor. I think he's a great. But Cartho Nassi must die. That's just how it is. So there is. This is another, actually, a great example of throughout this game, you have points that you can skip absolutely everything and just jump right into the fisting, as we would say, or you can gather exposition and story, and it's all kind of up to you. I like how BioWare does that, and BioWare, of course, does that really well in the Dragon Age series, where you collect codexes and whatnot, and you can read them or not, entirely up to you. The same thing I think you've got going on here is where you could listen to all of these people or not. It's entirely up to you.
Yep. I really wish I could fist Admiral Ron right now.
Ah, jeez.
Because seriously, doing that to Tali was just
Mm,
no,
mm,
no.
mm.
First off, you should have done more to protect Tali. This trial never should have happened in the first place. It's clearly malarkey.
Yeah,
And
it is malarkey, and they do not have a malarkey stopper, and they need a malarkey stopper.
well, that's supposed to be Ron's job.
Indeed.
And just between the hi, we're changing your name without your consent, and we're charging you for the crimes of your father, fundamentally. And it's just like, at what point did someone just say stop? And that was Ron's job.
Exactly.
You had your job was to be the brakes on this, and you didn't.
You had
Failed.
one job. You had one job, and you didn't do it.
So,
Don't like her. Do not like her. Not as much as I don't like.
well, it comes down to her whole thing is that she doesn't have a political will of her own. She is there to for the Admiralty Board. She thinks that it is best for her to just catch which way the wind blows and follow that.
She's a politician.
And the worst kind of politician, because it's like she became an admiral, and that was catching the dog. She wanted to. I genuinely believe she became an admiral because she wanted to run it's the patrol fleet that she is in charge of, and she wanted to be in charge because she wanted to protect her people, and then everything else got in. It's like, I'm not here for this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that seems reasonable. I'd say, it's funny you mentioned changing her name. I actually love their naming style, where they're like Voss, whatever ship they're on. I like that.
You have a given name, a family name. You start off with the name of the ship that you are raised on, and then your surname changes to the ship that you're serving on.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. I think it's a neat.
And even in extremely formal situations, you're allowed to use both ships. When you, as we saw with when Tali was contacting the fleet while we were on approach. So it was Naraya Vasnima that she became, and then. And we learn in Mass Effect 3 with the naming conventions that that will extend to the planets that they reside on. A Quarian who dies on Rannoch was referred to by Tali as so and so Vas Rannoch.
Yeah, no. I think it's see. There's
it's
so much
elegant.
Little bits of wonderful storytelling that they put in there, and it is elegant. It's beautifully elegant. So yeah, no, I think it's and it's very different from how Westerners usually decide on naming culture, which is usually based on what the hell you do. Or what your family did, or something along those lines.
Sometimes it's like where you're from.
Yeah, sometimes it's where you're from.
Lakewood. You were from. Your family lives in the woods by the lake.
Yeah, something like that. But I do like the naming thing that they do with the Quarians. I honestly, as far as the.
And then there's this asshole.
And then there's this douche. I would say douche, but douches have a use.
Look, Zen is nuts. I think that's the best way to describe it. Tali's godmother is a coward. This guy,
a political coward. I'm going to say she's a political coward, which is not the same thing as being a full-blown coward. I don't think she's like in a firefight. I think she'd be perfectly useful. I just think as a politician, I think she doesn't have the huevos.
Geralt is what Donald Trump wanted James Mattis to be.
Yeah.
he is the shoot first, ask questions later type, completely devoted to the noble mission of reclaiming Rannoch, but is also, I mean, let's call it what he is. He's a fucking cowboy.
He is a cowboy in the worst sense of the word. He is he is somebody that believes in things that never really existed, but he wants them to have existed, and he's going to fight hard to make sure that they exist again, even though they never existed in the first place.
Uh-huh.
He's that kind of a conservative. But
And don't get me wrong, there is a need for soldiers and even generals or admirals like Geralt, but they shouldn't be leading they shouldn't be in charge of the political body.
No.
And that's kind of the weakness, I think, of the Quarian political system, such as it is of the you have 5 fleets. 2 of them are small and specialized, with Zen being in charge of one group of science vessels, and Tali's father was in charge of another group, apparently. I guess explorator fleets are best way to do it.
I get
reconnaissance fleets.
Yeah, I guess explorator, I think, is probably the best way to put it.
But not. The whole idea of, well, you have risen to command the fleet, so you are also one of our heads of state, is just a bad idea.
And after, served 16 years, but I will say this, that even though I have many complaints about the United States and the United States military, the fact that the military is subservient to the elected civilian body is not one of those complaints. I think that is absolute genius way to put it together.
Now, I mean, granted, the Quarians are living in a state of emergency and have lived in a state of emergency for 3 centuries at this time.
And how much of that, I always look at those kind of situations and I go, how much of that state of emergency is being caused by the people that get to stay in power as long as they're in a state of emergency? I.e., how much are they not looking for a way to get them out of a state of emergency?
Yeah. All right, a legit question. I do. Yeah, it is brought up why it's difficult for Quarians to colonize other worlds.
Oh, yeah,
because of their biology, because they
absolutely
have the even when they were planet bound, because their immune systems were always weak, because the Quarians themselves act as pollinators on their world.
Right.
So you had to colonize planets like Rannoch.
And that's typically very rare. When you are, for humans are amazingly adaptable species. So we can kind of go a lot of different places. Quarians, it's
really quick. We now have chorus. You were talking about Quarian naming convention and how elegant and beautiful sounding they are. And so here we have Admiral Chorus von Quib, because for some reason they couldn't change the registry of the name. And so he says this: he would love to serve on a ship like the Deferens or the Ictomy, making him Chorus Vaz Deferens or Chorus Vasectomy.
Can you tell me anything about the LRI?
Only that you should have let
I do love the sense of humor that the folks over at BioWare have. I think that when their games, when it's hard to find that sense of humor in the games, I think the games tend to be a little less, they're not as well done, in my opinion.
I wonder how many gamers that went over their head.
All of them. I
I
am
mean,
going to say
I picked it
all
up.
of them.
I picked it up not immediately, but it was sort of like a wait a second thing because I work in a paramedical field,
Yeah.
um, reading doctor's records for a living. So it's it is, but that's me. I had a specialized education for it, so
Mm-hmm.
I do know that at like some point someone like pointed it out in an interview, and like the whole world went, "Oh, that's funny."
Yeah. No. I had noticed it years ago because I also work in the medical field and I also see a lot of those kind of things. Um, but I think, but again, just like poop humor and fart humor, I find it funny every single time. Um,
You also find it funny every single time because you're brain damaged and and so it is new for you every single time.
no, that is a absolute fact. That is true. I think that's why I can get away with playing this game once a year, every year, because when I go to play it, I'm like, oh, this is a great game. Why have I never played it before? So I remember parts of it, but um, uh, so yeah, it's these little funny in jokes and stuff are, and if you haven't been a Bioware guy or Bioware person like I have been since Baldur's Gate 1, where they put in a joke about Daryl, and Daryl. I kid you not. For those of you old enough to get that joke.
Fallout had a similar thing. There was a vault whose whole thing was cloning, and and eventually the vault collapsed because everyone it was taken over by clones of a guy named Gary, who was really all he could do was laugh and say his name. So it'd be like, ha ha ha, ha Gary, Gary,
Gary.
Gary.
Now we're getting into like eldritch horror territory with that one. But yeah, no, Bioware is, if you pay attention and you look in any Bioware game, you're going to find a plethora of puns and wordplay and just humorous stuff, and then Easter eggs with pop culture Easter eggs and whatnot. And finally, we get to the fisting.
Yep, it's gonna be a short one, kid.
It is. It is the the build up to this one is actually longer than the actual level. What you were using the
I pulled out the Avenger because I instead of the Matic because I thought there would be a need for suppressive fire rather than a great big thunk.
There is room in the world for both suppressive fire and a great big funk.
Shit! What? No. I also realized I switched to warp ammo for someone else. That wasn't for this thing, and so like now my bullets are pink, and that's awesome.
Well, and I love the being able to the switch to being able to add your ammo with a power from being able to load the different ammos into the weapons with weapon upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was brilliant. Was really a good change, mainly because the weapon upgrades and whatnot in one just it never seemed to really work well.
Oh, hey, it's one of them drone turret things.
Oh, the drone turret thing.
Hated those things in 1. Thankfully, we never deal with them in 3, and they're only in 1 mission in 2, Tali's recruitment.
Right. Here we are going through.
So, like, she uses that as a dead drop. Is it potent enough that it could quickly get to, like, a mass relay and shoot itself off, or does she drop it next to a mass relay? Or
that is an excellent question.
Actually, that's a really funny idea. Is just like throwing junk at a mass relay and just watching it go whee.
You know a human's done it. They just
Well, I
in the framework of this story, a human has said, "Hey, how can we get rid of our trash? Oh, I know. Let's mass effect it out of the galaxy."
so the funniest thing about that is that in the storyline of this, I believe the mass relay in in our solar system was frozen in a block of ice so massive it was mistaken for Pluto's moon.
Mm. I think, yeah. I think I
And
remember reading that.
And the only reason that we found it was because we thought, let's see if we can mine Pluto's moon, and what is this giant device underneath all of it?
Yeah, that sounds like us. Give us any sort of space capability, and we're like reliable space capability, and we're gonna go out there to get some natural resources.
Well, that's not just us; it's literally anyone. I mean, because the whole reason to leave your own solar system is to expand.
That's right. Expansion.
You know, the
Oh God! Oh God! Look at it! It's so big and big, and roboto.
it's so big and white.
That's what she said. No, it isn't. But yeah, and there's Tali's drone. I love Tali's drone.
Chiquita Vast Paws.
Yep. Because again, Tali's drone is in fact a.
It's a Baldur's Gate reference.
It is a Baldur's Gate reference, and I love their capability of working in different references throughout games that are completely unrelated.
Isn't the guy with his with the space hamster thing like just completely insane?
Oh, Minxed, yes. Played in Baldur's Gate 3 by Matt Mercer, the famous DM. Yes, Minxed is actually, like myself, a sufferer of TBI, of many, 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 many blows to the head, because he doesn't wear a helmet. I mean, once you get him, you put one on him, but for the most part, he suffers from what appears to be a certain amount of brain damage in the game.
Okay, so it's brain. I thought it was just nuts.
The two things are not mutually exclusive. I can assure you. And here we had a Skynet / Terminator situation go on here.
This console might have something. Most of the data is corrupted, but a few bits are
Just looking at the computer, looking at there we go. Remember when we had to slap Metagel on everything, or Omnigel on everything to
A lot of people were unhappy with that security update.
I certainly was.
Look, I don't want to do the puzzles. Can I just get the stuff?
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't always want to do the puzzles, although I do like the puzzles most of the time.
Then in Mass Effect 3, we just got the keys to everything.
Yeah, no, just have a universal key. Generally the universal key is fisting.
Yeah.
Fisted. So, this whole mission is more daddy issues, and her finding out
that her daddy was doing something wrong.
That her daddy was not perfect, because none of us are.
Mm-hmm.
Although, creating a Skynet situation would not be something I would do. I would probably do something stupider, to be honest with you.
They may have been activating the Geth deliberately. I don't know. Nothing
So,
specifically, but
as we go through this, and this particular one, which is kind of a, after all the exposition and whatnot going into it, it is kind of a anticlimactic, I guess would be the term. Because of how fast the actual level is. There's nothing really hidden in it. There's nothing really
Special.
special. It's very similar to some of the bonus missions where you get on board a transport and run through and kill pirates or what have you. Very straightforward.
And it's a gauntlet more than anything else.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Thank you.
You're not flanking. You're not getting flanked. You're not doing clever maneuvers. This is the most clever thing that happens. Is there's this place that you can't access directly, and you gotta shoot some guys off to the side.
Yeah. No. Yep. That's fact.
Pew 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 pew. So it's like I get, but it's also like you weren't Tali. I thought you were Tali.
I have made that mistake myself a time or two.
Geth platforms eerily look like Quarians.
And that's of course reasoning behind that.
Yeah, we make our homunculi to look like us.
And that is very true. And I also am surprised you knew what the word homunculi meant.
I watched Full Metal Alchemist.
I was unaware of that too.
I've also read a book.
One.
Just one.
And this is
Oh,
this is the depressing part, honestly.
Zen's dead, baby. Zen's dead.
Nice.
I'm
I'm surprised that BioWare didn't work that in. To be honest with you,
As a renegade interrupt for this? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, no, that is definitely something that BioWare would do.
Mandatory Paragon interrupt. You could be the biggest dick in the universe, and you have to do this.
True story.
And even the game lets you know, because that prompt that'll stay on screen for like a solid minute.
Yeah. No. You got to give her a hug. I mean, come on.
It's Tali.
It's Tali. Yeah, no, you got to.
All right, let's look up her iPad. How was it able to record his entire body?
These are questions best left to aged sages. Why would it record the whole body? Like, what benefit is seeing the whole body?
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy, really, when you think about it.
I mean, the fact that it will project a hologram is also kind of weird, but I guess because Omni tools are basically holograms around, what, a bracelet or something?
Yeah, something along those lines. Hard light holograms or something like that. I'm not sure how that works.
It's not even hard light. It's just a haptic interface. It's you press where the button is and it responds. It does that. There's no physical feedback.
I haven't ever read the entry on those. I don't think so. I wouldn't remember if I had.
I was bored and lonely one night.
It's understandable. There's a lot. There is a lot in this game of exposition and of journal entries.
We're not going to screw around here. Out comes the taser. Because it's a prime and a bunch of other like crap and whatnot. So we're just
you get your
pew. And oh god, I forgot that happened when I recorded the gameplay. I thought I could hold the damned trigger down and it would just keep shooting.
Yeah, no, didn't work that way, did it?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, those primes are beastly, honestly.
They really are.
I'm not entirely certain I would say they were a boss enemy, but they're very close.
Well, they're the boss of this particular level, so...
Yeah, I guess...
Oh, wait, that's Chiquita. Why was he shooting Chiquita?
Because you're a shoot first and ask questions later kind of guy, or if ever. I don't know.
ABF, always be fisting.
Always be fisting.
This console is linked to the main hub, Father.
Wouldn't it be great if you could put a tattoo on her? Always be fisting. Not that we would ever see it, because...
Actually, it would be ABF, like...
On the knuckles, yeah.
or not on the knuckles, but actually on the digits, and
Yeah,
and then a fist on the pinky.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool.
So that and why if and not a fist like raised up, no, a fist that is engaged in the act of punching.
Exactly.
Because Agatha Fisty punches you so hard you get punched twice.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. I do love me some Agatha Fisty.
I don't want to know that he was part of this.
You know, here we're getting the information.
The most condemning evidence of all. The thing that everything else is circumstantial and makes it all a happy accident. This shows intent.
Yep.
Yeah. That is
just just a pure act of hubris combined with this, combined with anything you want to combine it with, but just this act of I can do better than anybody else, and I can do it all alone.
And well, he wasn't doing it all alone, but he was push. Again, desperation is clearly what's feeding the hubris here.
Indeed.
It didn't point to him, but this.
And obviously, this we're not going to rat out her dad. Why would we do that? What possible upside would ratting her dad out be?
Yeah, we'd hurt Tali would be exonerated, but we'd hurt her feelings, and then she wouldn't, and then she'd be so distraught she'd willingly throw herself in the way of Collector Fire at the final mission, and we don't want that. So
indeed,
I mean, this is a case of I wish that she without the right Paragon or Renegade score, we're stuck, and Tali ends up condemned. There is a way around it, but it requires both Vitor having not been given over to Cerberus and Cal Rieger being alive, and what we end up doing is we out-Trump Donald Trump in that case and say, listen, fuck you guys, listen to these two. Tali saved these two. Tali saved all your asses 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're putting her on trial for treason? She should be promoted to admiral. Whoops.
She should be putting you on trial for treason. I'm not sure where that came from, but and here we go, returning to base.
And, and again, just the Quarians being total hypocrites, starting the trial without her.
I know, right? Like, what?
Seriously, there's no transponders, no monitoring radio conversations or anything? What the hell?
Yeah, no, that was rude.
Very rude.
Her loyalty was never in doubt. Her judgment.
You are all asking for a fisting.
You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order.
Out of order. I'd show you out of order. But I'm too damn old and I'm too damn blind. Sorry. Wrong character. Sorry.
I don't even know what that's from.
Scent of a Woman.
Shepard, please. Well, you know what?
Tali helped me defeat Saren and the Geth at the Citadel. That should be all.
And here we go.
I fail to see what relevance.
Shut the fuck up, Chorus. You're a sissy.
This trial isn't
Like,
about
I
her.
get
It's about the Geth.
the
Hearing has nothing to do with
Chorus's
You
intentions
want
are
people to
good,
sympathize with them.
but he is
Danielle wants to go to
way
war.
too much of an
Doesn't care about
apologist.
Mm-hmm.
She knows
Yeah,
more
it
about
is
Geth
the
than any other
Chorus
Quarian.
is very much the exact opposite end of the spectrum from Geralt, in that it's
She saved the Alarai.
pure pacifism, and pure pacifism doesn't work. So, sooner or later, you're just gonna have to take your gloves off and fist someone.
That is just a fact. Sooner or later, fisting must be done.
You know, the one needs to learn to pick up the gun, the other one needs to learn to put it down.
Yeah.
Hand to the knife, knife to the hilt.
Yeah. But here we have.
And even Chorus is like, yeah, you busted us.
In light of your history of service, we do not find sufficient evidence to convict. You are cleared of all.
In light of her history of service. Translation, yeah,
Commander
you didn't
Shepard,
really
please
exonerate
accept
yourself, but
these
we
gifts
can't.
in appreciation for
But
you taking
convicting
the
you would be
time to
politically
represent one of
unsound.
our people.
If you appreciate me, then listen.
And
The Reapers are coming. I'm going to
Yeah,
need
so,
your
I
help to
mean,
stop them. Please don't throw away
and
your
now we
lives
get the
against
pitch of,
Geth.
hey, a bigger war
Thank
is
you,
coming.
Commander Shepard. I
So
hope this war
preserve
will
your
be
strength,
considered your
build up
advice.
your fleet if you can. We don't have time.
This hearing is concluded. Go in peace, Tali Zoravas Normandy. Kill us alive.
And she's been transferred to our ship, which is cool.
Kayla Salai, go
I can't
fuck
believe
yourselves.
you pulled that off. What you said. I've never had anyone speak
Now,
like
we
that on
could-
my behalf. Thank you for being there for my father and
We
me.
can wander around and get other people's taste for stuff as well after the trial.
Still go back in and get you
The only
exiled if you want.
person that I
Thanks.
would
I'm fine
that I
with
think
things
is
like
worthwhile
this.
is talking to
It's fun watching you shout.
Stephen Baldwin's
Come on,
character.
Tali Zora.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because he'll be.
Let's get back to our
Kyle Rieger.
I didn't say that I found anything. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. So it's not really worth it though. So
Hello again, Commander. Good luck, Tali.
in fact, here we
Nice
are.
talking,
Yes.
Funny how it takes a commander
Nice
to
talking,
remind
Shepard.
the
How
admirals about
funny
military
how it takes a
honor.
field
Glad you're
commander to
off your back.
remind the admirals how to
You
behave.
didn't have to give him that evidence you found on the LRI.
I didn't say anything.
That's right,
about
you
finding
call her
evidence,
ma'am.
Tom.
Noticed that, ma'am.
Notice that.
Stay safe out there, Rieger.
You too, Shepard.
Stay safe out there.
Just call me Tali.
I'll work on that, ma'am.
You don't need to call me that. I'll work on that, man.
Of course. I mean,
Very impressive.
now we go
Commander
talk to everybody.
Very
Totally.
impressive
Did you
speech.
recover any
Did you
of Railzora's
recover
research?
any of Railzora's research? Nothing that would help.
Pity. Oh, well. Whatever is created can be recreated.
That's probably not a
In
good
the end,
idea.
I am
Uh-uh.
pleased that our talk regarding
And in
your
fact, that's
conundrum
exactly what
allowed you
ends
to
up
help
happening
Tali.
in 3.
Our
Yeah.
exile would have
Well,
been unfortunate.
You know, people like that, they have one good idea in their life, and then they think that every idea they have from there on out.
You should abandon
Is a
your
good
plans,
idea.
Admiral.
Well, what's Elon
We're
Musk's
going to make the
excuse? He didn't
situation
have a
worse.
single good idea in
We
his
shall
life. He
see,
just cut
Commander.
checks.
PayPal.
Many things are impossible
That wasn't him.
until they are done.
He financed it.
Yeah, that was his good idea to finance it. But after that, he's never had a good, he hasn't really. I mean, the idea to finance people and then take credit for it, that's his good idea. Because it's worked for him.
Repeatedly.
Repeatedly. But he's never, none of his actual, let's try this ideas. No, just the one. But, it works for him.
I lost respect for Elon Musk when he walked. There were those Filipino kids that were trapped in a cave.
Yeah,
And he walked up with his submersible, and everyone was saying that won't work, and so he just went on this tear, called everyone pedophiles, blah blah blah. And then when they finally said, "Fine, we'll use it," it didn't work, just like they said.
Yeah, no. It's and I always the trope of calling anybody you don't like a pedophile for no apparent reason with absolutely zero evidence to back you up. Rather common these days. But yeah, no.
You spoke well, but I know a
I don't that particular character trope. And
Tali, is there
when you're
anything the
alive,
Admiral should know?
living, breathing human being, your goal should be not to be a character trope. Like you really should not be a character trope, and that's what
If you're going to be a Quarian admiral, be an admiral like Tali.
be an admiral like Tali. Don't be a character trope. Or if you're going to be a character trope, be a good one.
Yep.
Be a funny one. Be a Carl Rieger. Don't be. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like this about Chorus. He is gracious in defeat. He was the one who pushed for this hard. And Zen saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
The galaxy
I
needs
am
more
a
people saying
firm
what you're saying,
believer
Admiral. Good luck.
in that being gracious in defeat is a sign of great character.
Yep. So, anyway, that is Tali's story. I do believe that this will conclude our collection of character stories. And
I do believe.
and we can move on to grabbing the Reaper IFF. It's not like that there would be anything that would sidetrack us after we acquire that, after all.
Oh yeah, no, nothing. I can't imagine anything.
So,
Not at all. Nope, not a thing.
Hey, Tali, ride or die through all 3 games. Her and
Yep.
Garrus, that's why we are the best friend squad.
Best friend squad.
Due to the balance of power.
For life.
So with that, I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
We'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Me as a candidate. Replacing an admiral takes time, though. You may not have noticed, but Quarians like to debate.
The whole trial was insulting. You should have had time to mourn your father.
I don't think life is about what you deserve, but my father would be honored that I chose to mourn him by blowing up a lot of gas. I should get back to work, but thanks for checking on me.